should be like you, Mel?
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Hello Cherries fans, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Cherry AM. And as you can see, joining me today is a new face on Cherry AM, but not a new face to the channel. He's been on a cherry picking with us earlier on this season. You'll all see him every day in the chat, so he's not too unfamiliar to everybody. But that's Paul from Oz. How you doing, Paul?
Yeah, good mate. Pretty cold over here, but you've got all the good weather, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous here. I mean, just looking out of my window, it is absolutely beautiful. There's not a single cloud in the sky. So I think we've got a touch of the Australian weather at the minute, yeah. And I think you're going through your winter, aren't you? But
you deserve a bit of it over there,
yes. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, we do, obviously, with what our summers are like, Paul. You know what our summers are like. So, but yeah, thank you for joining me today. It's great to have you with us. We're going to go through a few topics today, just to sort of really gauge Paul's thoughts on the stadium expansion and a couple of transfer bits as well. We're going to learn a little bit more about Paul. For those of you that don't know Paul or haven't seen our cherry picking from earlier on in the season. So just to give you guys a little bit of a background on Paul, we're going to touch on that very shortly. But let's go to the comments first, because there seems to be quite a few comments in there at the minute. Okay, good morning, Dan. Thank you for joining us as always. Great to see you. Liam, morning, everyone. Up the cherries indeed, mate. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining us. Chris, morning to Liam. Also morning to yourself as well, Chris. I think a friend of yours here, Paul. David DaCosta. Good morning from Melbourne. Is it Melbourne or Melbourne?
Melbourne. Like Bournemouth, Melbourne. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I should have. Yeah. It's a bit of a silly question of mine there. Still early. You can let me off. Malcolm Shiverton. How you doing, Malcolm? Obviously, Malcolm's been on all week with Ollie. They've done some great stuff this week. So yeah. Malcolm is having a day off today, so he's got the pleasure of just watching today rather than having to be on with us. But Malcolm will be back on a few shows next week. So yeah, hope you enjoy your weekend, Malcolm. Nick Gillins, nice to see you again, Nick. Good morning from Westbourne. And looking at it there, you got the emoji there with the sunglasses on. So I'm assuming it's just as gorgeous there as it is here in nearby Paul. Chris, morning, Malcolm. Hope you're well. And Malcolm is just returning the message to Chris. Hi, Chris. All good here this morning. Thanks. And Chris, that's good, Mount. Morning. Chris. Morning, Matt, and up the cherries. Yeah, good morning to you, Chris, as well. Vanessa Watkins, morning from the UK in sunny Bournemouth. Yes, it is sunny Bournemouth, definitely.
That's my niece. That's my niece.
Is that your
Ivan.
niece?
Yeah.
Ah,
She's a Bournemouth supporter too. Yeah.
excellent. Well, great to see you join us, Vanessa. It's much appreciated. Hammers Football TV. Hello, Tony. I hope you're well, buddy. Yeah, it is good evening for Paul. It is 5 p.m. there. Just for everybody, whether you're a West Ham fan or not, whoever's watching this, do subscribe to Hammers Football TV. They do a couple of great shows. They do the good, the bad, and the ugly on a Wednesday night, which is a great show between Tony, Anthony, and Hot Fuzz. And then he also does the Sunday night takeaway, which is a great debate show as well. He gets a mixture of fans on from other clubs, so it's well worth a watch. Good banter on there as well. But yeah, cheers for joining us, Tony. Much appreciated. Trevor, good morning all. Good morning to you, Trevor. Thank you for joining us once again. Liam, morning, Chris. You okay, mate? So yeah, it's great to see everyone having a conversation in this chat. It's what this little community is all about. This is why we love doing this. I mean, we're 7 minutes in virtually, and we're still on the first round of comments. That's pretty great. Dan Short up the cherries, off to Bourne Free later with Dorset Children's Foundation in sunny Poole. Well, Dan, hope you have a great day, buddy. That sounds great. You got the weather for it here in Poole anyway. So yeah, you look set to have a great day there, mate. Liam, yeah, good. I'm glad you're well, Liam. I will catch up with you at some point, Liam. We'll get you on some cherry pickings again next season if you're up for it, buddy. And Chris, just saying that you're all good to Liam. So yeah, great to see everybody in the chat. Right, so Paul, let's just learn a brief summary of yourself. How long you've been a Bournemouth fan, moving to Australia, what it's like to be a Cherries fan in Australia. I mean, especially I'm sure sort of the late 80s, through the 90s was hard to get news on Bournemouth and things like that. But just give us a little bit of a bit of an update on yourself.
Yeah, all right. Look, as you know, at the moment I'm in Australia, living over here. I'm about an hour and a half from Sydney, and I live in the country, so it's pretty good. It's not city life, it's country life, which is nice. I was born in Bournemouth, so I'm Bournemouth through and through. I lived in Bournemouth till I was 30, and I've only ever supported Bournemouth all my life. I've got no intention of ever supporting another team anywhere, anytime. So I'm pure Bournemouth, mate. My dad used to take me to Dean Court when I was 5, and that's a long time ago. And yep, Bournemouth through and through, mate. And the coverage over here now is great. We get the live TV and stuff over here, the games home and away, on demand, really good. And the weather here is pretty horrible at the moment. It's been really windy today, and I think tonight it's going down to about 2 degrees. So there you go. Wow. That's a bit about me, Matt. So yeah.
Wow, it gets down that low out there, does it, during the winter?
Well, I think we're 600 meters above sea level where I am, like the Highlands.
Right. Okay.
So it is colder. I mean, Sydney's about 5-6 degrees warmer than where we are, but we have winter. Yeah, it can snow here. It hasn't snowed for about 5 years, but it can snow where I live.
Wow, it can snow.
Yeah.
I tell you what, everyone just thinks, I mean, not everyone, but myself. I mean, I've always just thought, it's hot all year round. When you're watching programs like Home and Away and Neighbours and things like that, you never. I don't think you've ever seen them in like snow gear or anything like that. But
no, that's right. Yeah. It does. It has snowed here. Yeah, where I live. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you for just giving us a little bit of info for those that haven't obviously seen you on here before. We did do it, like I said, we did do a cherry picking earlier on in the season. It was called Tales from Down Under. If anyone wants to check that out, you can learn a lot more about Paul as a Cherries fan and what it's like to be a Cherries fan in Australia. So if you want to learn more, do check that one out. Just a quick one back to the comments before we start talking about a couple of topics. Hammers Football TV, good morning all in the chat. Make sure to hydrate, cream up, and enjoy this lovely weather. Absolutely. Hydration is the key, and also sun cream as well. Definitely need to make sure we're protecting ourselves on these hot spells. And Polly Keller, morning, Matt and Paul and everyone. Okay, right. So let's everyone in the chat. What we're going to do first is I know we've touched on it briefly earlier on in the week. The stadium expansion. Guys, put your thoughts in the comments. What you think of it so far, what you guys know of it, and what your opinions are. And also, if you're going to the exhibition on the 21st of July as well, pop it in the comments. We're going to just switch over to Paul now. Paul, obviously, you've heard the news about the stadium expansion, what the plans are. Long time coming, but it's a relief now, I think, that with how big the club has grown, this is really needed now, isn't it, this expansion?
I think if you look at the big picture, Matt, of the club, this stadium expansion goes in line with Bill Foley's dream of Europe. Yeah. So we have to be bigger if we're serious about Europe. We can't carry on the way we are. And he has delivered. He's put his money on the table. We've got a brilliant training centre, and now, that it's going to go through. This is going to happen. And I would think within a couple of years, things are going to look a lot brighter at Bournemouth. People are going to be able to apply for tickets at least, which has been the biggest problem. You look back with the stadium, it's been there since 1910. Yeah. That's a long time, isn't it? 115 years it's been there. And I remember the houses behind the stadium there were built 1930s, 1940s. Yeah. And those people that bought those houses, then they knew there was a stadium there. And the people that bought them from them, they know there's a stadium there. I think the positive things about it are it's going to create extra employment for the area. They're going to have to have people, to work there. And they've promised that, I think I read 70% of the building work would go to local contractors, which is great. Also, as I say, 7,000 on the waiting list. Something's got to happen, isn't it, for season tickets? Something's got to happen. I like it. I love it, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen, Matt.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it seems from what I've seen of it, obviously, they're going to completely rebuild the Ted Mack stand, make that a 30-metre high stand, by the looks of it, which I think was the obvious choice to develop anyway, because obviously it was only a temporary stand, so I think that was obvious. But then it looks like they're coming round the east stand and making it the same height as well as that, and the north stand, it looks like it's coming round. And obviously going to be done in phases and stages, and looks like there's going to be, corners filled in at the other end as well. So it's going to look very impressive. I think for me, I don't know about yourself as well, Paul, but I think it's very easy in this day and age to find another plot somewhere and just build a new stadium, isn't it? I think what they're doing here, I think they're doing the right thing by keeping us at Kings Park. It's the spiritual home of the club. Yep. There's nothing worse than having to go out of town to watch your club play.
Oh no, it's 100% the right thing in my opinion, Matt. I think, you look at Southampton for years. They were in the old First Division, and their capacity was 15,000. And they had the same problem as we had to sell out every game. Yeah. And now they've got their stadium 32,000, and we're going to join them. This is going that way, and it's great news. It's great news for everybody, and we have to thank Bill Foley for his vision and what he's doing. I think he's great. He's great for the club. Great for the club. I wouldn't, can't say a bad thing about the guy. He's been brilliant.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it's great to see that. Obviously, this is going to be put in place, and. I think I'm going to be going on the 21st. I know I believe Craig is also going on the 21st as well. So, but yeah, it's exciting. I'm very looking forward to it, and I just think we just got to be patient now, haven't we? And in time, it will be it will be completed. And obviously, the great thing is for me is that we'll be able to get more fans in there. I think that's key. I mean, the club has grown so big now. It's got to happen, and I think all faith in Bill and his team, and I'm sure that they will, perfectly complete this part of the of their infrastructure. So let's just. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Matt. I'll just very briefly. There was one thing on there. We were talking about the acoustics earlier.
Oh yes,
yeah. I found that interesting that they're putting special acoustic, something in the roof or something to increase the sound in the place. So if Bournemouth score a goal, it's going to sound like really loud.
Right. Okay.
That's what I was reading about. How they do that, I've got no idea. But
I wonder whether we'll find out a little bit more about that when we go to the exhibition on the 21st.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll keep my eyes peeled for that, Paul. Thanks for that bit of info. Let's jump back quickly to the chat. Dan Short, seen a fan pack, etc. Depends what day the 21st is. The 21st is Monday, I believe, if I remember rightly. So Monday. Malcolm, brilliant that the club are doing this exhibition. Can't be there, but looking forward to getting feedback soon. Yeah, I'm sure myself or Craig will give some feedback on what we see at the exhibition. Chris, the stadium experiencing will be good to get more fans inside. Yeah, absolutely, Chris. I think that's vital that, now we get, the fan base has grown massively. It's time to get more people in the ground and getting behind the mighty Cherries. Hammers Football TV, right off to work. Have a good show, Matt. Enjoy your day and have a great weekend, everyone. Yeah, thanks, Tony, for checking in. Like I say, check their channel out, check a couple of their shows out. It is really good. Malcolm, have a good weekend. That's to Tony at Hammers Football TV. David Costa, your friend there, Paul. It will always be Dean Court. See, that's the thing for me. I mean, I imagine you're the same, Paul. It's all right, with this naming rights and that, you put whatever you want on the side of the stadium. I think, for the older fan base, the fan base that have been going for many, many years, will still call it Dean Court. I always will. I understand stadium naming rights. I do get that. It creates revenue, etc. I think the fans still call it Dean Court at heart, so I totally agree with David's comment there, and I'm sure you do as well, Paul.
Look, 100%. I mean, I used to stand in the Brighton Beach end with Dave in the rain, all those years ago. I did. I've been in the new stand, I've been in the main stand, Block E, South End, I've done the lot. Yeah. And it's always Dean Court, and it always will be, and I think true fans know that. Love it.
Yeah. Totally agree with you. Couldn't agree with you more. So I'm sure that's Craig that's in the chat here. Hello, everyone. To register your interest in seeing the plan, send an email to ops@afcb.co.uk. Timings from 3:30 to 8 p.m. They are suggested to save an hour to view the plans. Personally delighted we are upgrading the current Dean Court rather than making a new one. Yeah, they are saying potentially an hour. To be honest with you, I don't think people are going to need an hour. I think that's just a window that they're obviously creating for sort of like health and safety purposes, things like that, depending on how many numbers they're getting to come and obviously want to view it. I'm sure they're going to get some high numbers. So I'd be very surprised if you need more than an hour in there, to be honest. But yeah, at least it's a good time that's been allocated to view the plans.
You know what, Matt? With that night, I think the club are being very clever, because what they're doing, they're involving the fans in it. It's part of a fan thing. They're not just going ahead and building this and doing that without consulting the fans. I think they're being very smart in doing that to make the fan base feel more involved with it all. I love it. It's very good thinking to do that.
No, I totally agree with you. I think it's, and obviously fans and residents get the chance to speak to personnel of the club that are involved in the project as well. So I think, I totally agree with you. Totally agree. I think it's a great, I think it's a great idea. I think it's obviously going to have to happen anyway at some kind of viewing like this. But I think the way the club are doing it and handling it, I think is spot on. To be honest, definitely
Very professional. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. New stadiums, this is Craig again. New stadiums lose atmosphere, which we have at Dean Court. Yeah, there is an atmosphere at Dean Court, and I know Craig's not a fan of these new sort of bowl-shaped stadiums. I'm not as well. I mean, I've been to the Emirates a few times, and sometimes I thought the atmosphere in there wasn't great. I don't know if that's because of the shape of it or what, but I agree. And obviously, it's the spiritual home, which is the most important thing. Dan Short used to be called the Fitness First Stadium. That's right, Dan. Now that was the original name of it when the stadium reopened, I think, if I remember rightly. They obviously paid for sponsorship rights for a certain number of years, didn't they? And I think it was still called the Fitness First Stadium up until the point before sort of like -17 season. I think just around that time, I think it changed. But yeah, no, definitely right, Dan. That was the original naming rights when the stadium first opened. And the Gold Sands. Yeah, there's been a couple of also, wasn't it the Classic Eye Stadium, if I remember rightly? Someone won a competition for the naming rights at some point back, I think under Eddie Mitchell's era. But yeah, it's had various different sponsorship names over the years. But like you say, like me and Paul were just saying, to the true fans, to the fans that have been going for a long, long time, it will always be Dean Court. I think David's just had a bit of a flashback there, Paul. That was back in the late 60s.
Yeah.
Wow. In the late 60s.
Way back. Yeah.
Way back.
You used to go behind the goal in the Brighton Beach end, and the away fans were in there, and they'd only bring about 35 or something, and it was a bit of a dodgy time to be around the Millwall supporters, I can tell you, behind the goal there. But it was a bit dodgy at times. But like I look at the League Cup, that how many names has the League Cup had, and it loses all of its. It was the milk. Was it the milk cup or something? And Johnston Paints Cup and all sorts of stuff, and it loses it. But as you say, Dean Court's Dean Court, mate. That's it. Yeah,
that's it. Liam, the stadium expansion going to be great and getting the younger fans to watch their local team rather than being a TV support. Yeah, absolutely, Liam. I think with the amount of younger fans now that we see running around in their Bournemouth shirts rather than their Man United shirts, they deserve the chance to go and watch Bournemouth. So yeah, definitely, Liam. Great comment. Malcolm's got a bit of a fact here, I think, regarding acoustics. Everton's new ground have designed something in the roofing to give improved sound from fans. So that sounds cool. That's similar. That obviously, that you've read that's going to be implemented at our ground. So.
Yeah.
Just one last comment quickly before we move on to the next bit. I remember it being called Fitness First Stadium. Didn't the deal roll into the early part of the -17 season? I got a funny feeling. I think the deal might have finished around the time of the administration. I can't remember, to be honest. But yeah, it's had various names over the years. But like myself and Paul have just said, it'll always be Dean Court. But yeah, guys, any more comments on the stadium expansion? Chuck them in. We'll go through them at some point. Before the end of the show. But we're just going to touch on a couple of transfer bits now before we wrap up. And then I'll just give you a quick rundown at the end of what else you've got coming up on the channel over the summer and into the new season. So transfer update. So yeah, Petrovic, the Chelsea goalkeeper, it's saying that the deal is still some way to completion. So still quite a way off by the looks of it, but it does look promising. It does look like he is going to become a Bournemouth player.
You know what, Matt? Dave DeCosta, my friend, he made a very good point. He said that he thought that Kepa had a word in his ear to say what a great club Bournemouth was, and he felt that could be a big influence in him signing. I read over here that he wants to come to Bournemouth. He wants to come to Bournemouth. They just have to finalise the deal. He's happy to come to Bournemouth. Yes. I don't know much about the goalie, but he's quite experienced, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's 25.
Yeah.
He's
They offered 25 million and got knocked back. So I don't know where they'll go from there. That's
right.
what
Okay.
said over here. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen the fees of 25 million mentioned in the press, but yeah, we never really know, do we? It's all speculation until the deal's done, and they announce a fee, or whether it's undisclosed or they actually give you a fee. Then obviously, it's all speculation, isn't it? But it's going to be in the region of that kind of money, isn't it? And I think that's not a bad price. I think what you're saying there, what David said to you about Kepa, I think is possibly, right. Could possibly be true, because obviously Kepa had a very, very good time here. It's a shame. It's a shame that Kepa didn't sign. I think I wanted. I mean, I was quite critical of Kepa coming to Bournemouth at first. I'll be honest, but as the season progressed, I thought he got better and better. He looked stronger. He's good with his. He can play out from the back. I know there's possibly a mistake here and there, but every goalkeeper can goalkeeping is probably the most difficult position on the pitch, because everybody can easily pinpoint a goalkeeper. I've always said it's the most difficult position on the pitch.
Yeah.
So
what I felt was over here, come the second half of the season, I thought the defence settled in much better with him behind them. They seemed to be calmer. They had a lot of confidence in Kepa, and personally, I felt great. If I knew he was in goal, I wasn't too worried. I didn't think there'd be any problems, any major dramas, and he saw us through, mate. He kept us in a lot of games. Kepa, he was good. He did well. It's a great pick-up. Great pick-up for me.
Absolutely, and I think this guy coming in, he had a very, very good season at Strasbourg last season. I think he was at. On loan, and I've seen a lot of comments from Chelsea fans on different socials as well, saying that he's actually a better choice than their current number one, which I think is Sanchez, the former Brighton goalkeeper. I think a lot of fans have actually quite praised Petrovic. I think that's how you say it, Petrovic. If I've said it wrong, please excuse my pronunciation. But yeah, this looks quite exciting. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to spell the end, possibly, of Mark Travers, who needs to be a number one. I would love to see him as our number one. But I don't think he's going to be. Obviously, we've still got Neto at the club, who's been rumoured to possibly go back to Brazil to a couple of clubs there, apparently interested. But whatever happens, I think this guy's going to add some quality to the squad. But let's just quickly jump back to the comments, Paul, if that's all right, quickly. Malcolm, worth checking out Jim Ferrola's interview on YouTube with the Fan Advisory Board. I'm sure you've probably seen that already, haven't you, Paul?
No,
do check it out. I'll send you a link to it. I'll send you the link.
I haven't. No.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. But yeah, Malcolm is right. If you haven't already, guys, do check that out. Dan, 25 million apparently. Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. But like me and Paul were just saying, I'm sure we'll find out the fee once the deal is completed. Why won't we give Mark Travers a chance? Yeah, I mean, I think this is something we've been over time and time again. Mark Travers is a number one goalkeeper. I think the guy deserves to be number one. If it's not going to be at Bournemouth, I think the time is right for him to go and establish himself as a number one somewhere, because he is a good goalkeeper. He's a quality goalkeeper.
It was tough on him in the middle of the season, Matt, when he had 3 really good games. He came in, I think, because Kepa got injured, and he played brilliant. And then he dropped him and brought Kepa in, and I thought that was a bit rough.
I think that says it all, doesn't it? I think that said it all at the time. I remember the games were on about, one of them being Villa away, and he was fantastic. And then I think the next game was City at home, and he pulled off a great save from Haaland. And then I remember saying at the time, how can we put Kepa back in after he's played so well for 3 games? But then I think that kind of said it all, really, when Kepa come back in. But Kepa come back in and performed well. So it must be a great problem to have as a manager, to have good quality keepers and have to make that hard decision every week to who you're going to put in.
I'll tell you what, briefly, what it reminded me of, Matt, was if you go back into the 70s with Peter Shilton, and Ray Clements. Liverpool keeper Clements, brilliant. Peter Shilton, Leicester keeper, brilliant. And what they had to do with them two was alternate them every other game. They swap keepers each game. I don't know whether they do that these days, but in those days that seemed to keep them both happy. They take it in turns to go and goal. But
and that's what I thought was bizarre about the Kepa going to Arsenal, because of David Raya is a great keeper. He seems to be is cemented as their number one. So I think the only reason Kepa's gone there is maybe he's been promised all the cup games and the European games. Maybe otherwise, I just couldn't see the logic of him going there when he could have just been first choice at Bournemouth. But I do understand. He's a top quality goalkeeper. He was once he still is the most expensive goalkeeper, or had one of the most expensive transfer fees for a goalkeeper. So
it's like he's gone backwards. Yeah, it's like he's gone backwards by doing it, Matt, isn't it? He's gonna, who's going to start the first game for them?
Yeah, I can see the argument for it from all sides. I think on this one, but it's we would love to have seen him, play at Bournemouth. But Paul's popped a comment in here. He can't play out with his feet. Now I'm assuming there, Paul, you're meaning Mark Travers, and I think you might have a point there. I think that possibly might be the manager's thinking. I mean, we will never know, for definite. But yeah, I think if that is Travers that you're on about there, then I think you've got that. I think you've got that on. Hit that on the nail on the head, as they say. Malcolm Craig, sorry, it isn't going to happen. Yeah, I agree with that. Paul, would you say the same?
I'd love him to stay at the club. He can score goals with his head, mate. Remember? He scored a goal, didn't he? I think as a character, and he seems to be maturing. He's right in his prime at 25. If he's going to go, they're going to want some money for the guy. They're not going to give him away, I hope. But it wouldn't worry me if he went in goal for the first match. It wouldn't bother me in the slightest. He can do it.
Yeah, no, totally agree with you. Dan's agreeing there with Craig. I think give Travers or Poulsen a go. I mean, Poulsen, I think there's a lot of people I think don't know how well he played in the A-League out there last season. Did you see much of Poulsen or hear much about him? I know he's based in New Zealand, wasn't he? But he plays in the same league, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he was voted the number one keeper in the whole of the league. The season he played there, he was voted best keeper out of all of them. Who knows what's going on with him? I don't get it. I think he's in Bournemouth at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, he's back here. Yeah, he's back here training.
So he's here. So, we've got too many. We've sort of got no keepers, but we've got too many, haven't we?
Yeah.
In a fun sort of way. There's a lot of goalies hanging around, but there's nobody nailed on for number one at the moment. So who knows? I don't know, mate. But I heard Poulsen was good with his feet. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think Paul's made another good point here, Paul. Travers is a great shot stopper, but that's not all about keeping in the modern game. And that's the thing. I mean, we go back years and years ago. I mean, probably when you started to watch football, Paul, goalkeeping was a different art to what it is today.
Sorry, Matt. They used to actually catch the ball in those days. They'd actually catch it and hold it. These days, you watch Neto come out when he does manage to hit the ball in the air, twist it away. It's a different game, isn't it? Completely. There was that criticism, I think, earlier on Travers, where he didn't come out for crosses at the right time. He wasn't good in the air off corners and stuff. I remember that criticism a couple of years ago, possibly. But look, I love the guy. I hope he stays at Bournemouth. That's my thoughts on it, in some shape or form. I do. Yeah. Someone will get a good keeper, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it must be a great headache to have with such a good group of goalkeepers at the club at the minute. I think that is Iriola's logic, Paul, but with our wingers, we could move the ball forward faster. Yeah, I think Yeah, a fair point. Travers to Everton is a non-starter for me. From playing second fiddle here to playing second fiddle behind Pickford, he could be a number one here. He could be, but it's not looking likely, is it? I mean, this is where really, we've all said it. He could be number one here, but I think it's down to Mark now to decide what's best for his career. I think ultimately, we're going to move on from the goalkeeper soon. Obviously, Petrovic hopefully will be completed by Monday, so Craig and Ollie can update everybody on Monday with that. But forgot we had Neto, on loan at Arsenal last year, made one appearance, and now he is back at Bournemouth as his loan deal has expired. I think he's got a year left on his Bournemouth contract. I might be wrong. If not here, another Premier League club. Yet again, can't disagree. 5 keepers, in total. Remember what Roger Jones? Roger Jones.
Yeah, I remember David Best before him, Malcolm. David Best was a brilliant keeper for years, and then Roger Jones came along, and I think we had them both for a time, and they were both great goalkeepers, great goalies to have. Yeah, I do very much remember them too. Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to get you two together, and we're going to have to do a show of the three of us, and we'll have to go over some of the great players you two have seen over the years, because you've seen some legends of the club play that obviously people of my age and generation haven't managed to see. I saw
Harry Redknapp when he could run, mate, on the right wing. You know what I mean? He was good. He was good.
Yeah,
I think he did his knee in or something. But yeah, there's been some greats at the club. There has been some great players.
Well, that's definitely something we'll arrange between the three of us. We'll do something. We will do something.
Sounds good.
Malcolm, I'm sure you'll be up for that as well. Ollie's in the house. Ollie, hope you're well, buddy. Well done to both yourself and Malcolm for the shows you've done this week. They've been great. I've been rewatching Paulson's games and highlights in Oz. He's a cracking keeper. Morning, by the way, chaps. Yeah, Ollie. That's what I've seen as well, written and on Facebooks and other things.
They got him cheap, Matt. They got him cheap. I think they got him under 2 million. Very cheap. Great
investment, I think is
for the future for sure.
Yeah. Hi, Ollie, from Malcolm there. Mac Allen in the development squad is also meant to be an outstanding goalkeeper. Yeah. Okay. The whole development squad's got fantastic players, so that's not surprising. Mark Travers should go out on loan to League One or League Two. Okay. Yeah. I think he's time. He needs to be a number one, Chris. But I get where you're coming from. Honestly, think Travers far surpasses League One or Two level, Chris. He is Premier League quality for the right club, but he needs to be a number one. And morning, Ollie. How you doing, mate? That's just Craig speaking to Ollie there. Right, okay, so we're going to move off the goalkeeping side now, because I think we could be on this all day. The Petrovic deal hopefully will be completed sort of ASAP. Next one, and we're just going to wrap up the show on this topic, and then I'll go through some shows that we've got coming up on the channel over the summer. This one, Paul, was something that sort of we've briefly touched on before we come on. It's a transfer rumour. I believe Middlesbrough are also interested in the player, and that is Pavel Šulc.
Yeah. I like the sound of this guy. I like the sound of 20 goals, Matt. I mean, 15 assists. So that's in 52 appearances. He's been really active. I think he's a Czech international. He looks good, mate. This guy looks good. I don't know what the story is. I can't see him turning down the Premier League. If he gets an offer in the Premier League, I think he'll take it, because I don't think he'll go to the Championship. But I like it. Yeah, I like it. And he looks the part. He looks like you wouldn't want to tangle with him in midfield. If you've seen a picture of him.
Yes, I have seen a picture.
It looks as if he's going to get stuck in, that lad. And I like that. A bit of a Harry Arter job. You know what I mean? But, time will tell. He looks good to me, that guy.
Yeah. Sure. He's 35 goal involvements last season. I know a lot of people say, could he transition to the Championship or Premier League? Obviously, depending on if the rumours are true and he picks one of the two clubs that we've mentioned, obviously ourselves and Middlesbrough. But I think sometimes if you are natural at scoring goals, then I think you'll score at any level. I mean, Brett Pittman, I think, proved that. I think Brett Pittman's a fantastic. Also, Callum Wilson, to a certain degree, he played in the lower leagues as well. If you know where the goal is, and put that ball in the net, you'll score at any level. So I do get where people say sometimes, can he transition into these, different levels of football, and in different countries and things like that. I know the standards are different, but yeah, I think this type of guy has the ability to do that. From also reading up on him, he's an international for, is it the Czech Republic?
Yeah. And an attacking midfielder, Matt.
Yeah, I've read 10. Yeah, number 10.
Yeah.
Question to you then, Paul. Our number 10 currently, plays in that sort of 10 role is your Justin Kluivert.
Yep.
Mainly. Can you see someone like him coming in and dislodging the Kluivert, or is it a case that someone else is going to go out to make room in the squad to bring this guy in as competition for Kluivert? I mean, I think Kluivert's superb in that position. Do you think this guy could give him competition?
Look, it might be like Dean Houston. It might take an injury to Kluivert for him to make an appearance there and to go into that position and put on a couple of good performances. And then I don't think I could see him dislodging Kluivert, but I'm sure Kluivert can be playing in the team in another position there as well as him. But, we've got to sign him first, Matt. That's what I hope. But again, you've got Andoni, who brought on Kirkes and he brought on Houston when they turned up at the club, and look what they've got. Look at Semenyo, Antoine Semenyo, how he's come through the ranks there. Andoni will bring that lad on if he gets into the club. You can, they've been good. The recruitment's been good for the past 5 years, I think.
Absolutely.
Keep going with it. Yeah, he looks good to me, this guy.
Yeah, it's like Malcolm uses the term trust the process, and I think you got to trust the recruitment. The recruitment's been excellent, but let's just touch on some of the comments quickly. Vanessa, it's going to be such a great season, great show. Thanks for the heads up on the viewings too. The expansion will be amazing for the fans and the town, and that's the key thing, I think, for the fans and for the town. The town could do with this as well, and the town will benefit from it. Totally agree with your comments there, Vanessa. Dan, what position is he? Yeah, we just said he's attacking midfielder, but I think he can also play out wide as well. I think he's quite adaptable, a bit similar to some of the players we've got now. You've got Semenyo who can play wide, but he can also play up front. He can play in behind. I think he can fit into that forward line that we do have, and bit like David Brooks as well. Like Brooks, similar. He seems to as if he's a similar type of player to Brooksy. Yeah. Paul, hi Vanessa. Please say that you're related to Ollie to get into play for us, Ollie Watkins. Yeah. I think that's an interesting one actually, because I think he's linked to a few. I saw him linked to Newcastle yesterday. Whether that's got any truth in it, I don't know. But that's the great thing about this time of year. It's just so crazy with all the rumours and everything, isn't it? So, that's a good one. That's a good one. His international stats are very, very good. Yes. Yeah, his stats. I think his stats, club and international stats are very good. So, it would be interesting. Like I say, it's only a rumour. It was just worth maybe just discussing it, getting people's thoughts in the chat, get Paul's thoughts on it. Malcolm, midfielder, plays for Victoria Pilsen. Is that? Whichever club it is. Vanessa has answered back to Paul there. Now, wouldn't that be amazing? It would be great player, Ollie Watkins. Yeah, great player. I think he'd be great.
Matt, that would mean I'd be related to Ollie Watkins as well. You see, because she's my niece. So
of course. Of course. So Paul's would be related to him. So if it was true with two of you on board, then I'm sure you'd be able to work the deal out. But yeah, good bit of banter. Paul, Andoni likes to have 2 or 3 players in the same position. Yeah, absolutely. Malcolm, building depth in the squad. Yeah, totally. And a couple of quotes of the club here. Obviously, Ollie there together. Anything is possible. And one of the latest ones that is used quite often now is advance and never retreat. So that is just touching on the rumour of Pavel Šulc, who possibly, who is linked to the club, has been linked to the club, is linked to other clubs, but just thought that was a good talking point. But we're going to wrap up Cherry AM now, but stay tuned to the channel. Tomorrow evening, there will be a show with myself and my friend here, Paul. We're going to be talking about the David Webb era of the club. I'm sure many people will know the name of David Webb and link him directly to being a Chelsea icon. But he was actually manager of the club, wasn't he, Paul, back in the early 80s and won a promotion, which is something we're looking forward to covering off, aren't we?
We are, mate. And do you know what, Matt? I'll make it brief, but it's a subject that doesn't seem to have been covered. I find very little on the David Webb era at Bournemouth, and he wasn't there for long, but he got him promoted. It's a promotion, and he was a great guy, very, very nice guy. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to doing it. Yeah.
Yes, me too. I'm looking forward to learning a bit more about it as well. That will be going out 8:00 tomorrow night. That will be on the channel. Then do check it out. Also, over the summer, we've got the tier list that will be out probably sort of towards the end of July, early August. It'd be good to get a bit of the transfer window out of the way, and then a few of us will have a look at there'll be a panel of us that will look at the tier list. Also, cherry picking will be back Friday, the 1st of August. Will be the first show that will be back on YouTube, and also. For the new season, there's the new match preview show, the Deep Cork Social, and there will also be a new match reaction show which Ollie will be hosting each week. So do stick to the channel. Obviously, we've got lots of stuff coming up. We'll just go back to the comments very quickly before myself and Paul say cheerio for today. Malcolm, have a great weekend, everyone. Up the cherries. Everyone in the chat and the community that's obviously on Cherry AM. We love the interaction every morning. We love having you guys in the chat. We love welcoming people like Paul as well onto the show. Anyone wants to come on the show or get involved, do drop us an email at utcid afcb@gmail.com. I think that's the right email. If not, I'm sure Craig will pop it in a second. Paul, great show, lads. Thank you, Paul, for joining us. Have a great weekend, everyone. Please do like this video as it helps. If you haven't subbed, please do. As always, do sub, do like the videos. It's appreciated by us all here. David, great show, Matt and Paul. Thank you, David, for joining us each day. I know Paul's pointed you in our direction. It's great to have you. I've
converted him, Matt. I've converted him.
Yeah, excellent.
He's a Spurs fan. He's a Spurs fan.
Spurs fan. All fans are welcome. Great to have you with us, David. Malcolm, thanks for the great show, guys. Thanks to you and Ollie this week, guys. You both put out some great shows this week. So thanks for that, Malcolm, and we'll see you back on Cherry AM next week. Chris, great stuff. Matt and Paul, up the cherries indeed.
Thanks, Chris.
And here we go. There's the email address, guys. So if anyone wants to get involved, we did have Sean come on the show earlier this week. He's been in the chat a few times on Cherry AM, and he did a show with Craig about Semenyo and Dango Atara. So anyone wants to get involved, doors open for everybody. Just give us an email at that address there. And Liam, great show, Matt and Paul. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there for today. A big thank you to you, Paul. I'm sure we'll have you on Cherry AM again. Be great to have you on again at some point.
Just one thing, Matt. Dave, my friend, is also a big Bournemouth supporter. So he supports both. he's a huge Bournemouth supporter as well. So
excellent. Yeah. Back in the day, a few people sometimes used to support two teams, didn't they? Back in the day.
Yeah.
But hey, it's great to have David here. Anyway, it's great to have David with us. So thank you, Paul, for pointing him in our direction. As just comment just quickly before I wrap up, Dave Rose, thanks guys, great show. Dave from Paul. Cheers, Dave. Thank you for that. Thank you for joining us. Hope to see you in the comments again soon. But from myself and from Paul, thank you for joining us. Thank you everybody for being involved in Cherry AM this week. We'll see you back on Monday with Craig and Ollie at 8 a.m. on Monday, and I shall be back here next Friday. But until the next one, guys, up the cherries and see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.